Happy February, happy 2024. This is my first video of 2024. I actually haven't made a YouTube video for months and months, so apologize if I'm a little bit rusty. What I wanted to talk about in this video is to give you a bit of an update and to talk a little bit about my signing on to the 5 Things Shopping Challenge. If you've been reading my blog for a while or watching some of my YouTube videos, you'll know that I have made a bit of an effort over the last, since 2016 anyway, made an effort to become a better consumer, and I was inspired by the slow fashion movement and the fashion revolution, and attempted to find a way of curbing my shopping habit and becoming a better, more ethical, more sustainable shopper. And since 2016, I have been doing a yearly update where I count the number of purchases I've made over the course of a year. The reason I do that is because when I started the whole process, I had read that the average American/Canadian buys 70 pieces of apparel new every year, and I thought that was really an awful lot. And so I tried counting my own purchases, and what I noticed was, like, for instance, the first year I think 25, 26 pieces in 2016. The next year it was 25, and I thought, okay, that's not 70, so it's better than 70, but that's a lot of clothes. Over 2 years, that's 50 new pieces of clothes. That's a lot. So I made an effort to really cut that down, and I counted every year, and I did over the years. It gradually went down until 2022. I think 13 new pieces of clothing entered my wardrobe. And then 2023 came along and I backslid. I acquired 16 new pieces of clothing and footwear, etc., etc. And I thought, okay, this is not good. I'm backsliding. I need to do something different. At the beginning of January, when I did my slow fashion review for 2023, I did a lot of research, and I discovered something called the Rule of 5 and the 5 Things Pledge. And that just appealed to me. I figured it was a new approach and something that I could latch on to help me to be better, a better, more thoughtful shopper, help me to learn to do some things that I don't do very well, and to curb some of my slightly splurgy tendencies. Just to give you a little bit of background about the idea of Rule of 5, the whole thing came from a study that was done by the Hot or Cool Institute in Berlin, and it's a think tank, and from the article I read, it described it as researching the intersection of culture and climate. Anyway, they published a study saying what they thought a sustainable wardrobe would look like, and their conclusions were that people in wealthier countries should buy no more than 5 new pieces of clothing a year in order to make the fashion industry more sustainable, in order to help us, the world, to meet our climate goals. I will put some links in the blog post and in the description box, some of the sources that I referred to, or you can go back and read my January 6th blog post where I talk about why I'm signing on to the 5 Things Pledge. So here are the rules around the 5 Things Challenge. You are only allowed to acquire 5 new pieces of apparel over the course of the year. That includes footwear, it includes anything you've been gifted. It does not include lingerie, underwear, socks, tights, things like that. It also does not include anything that's purchased secondhand, thrifted, vintage, anything like that, which is good because it's encouraging people to thrift. You're also allowed to swap clothes, to borrow clothes, to rent clothes, anything other than buying new. So I thought, okay, I can do that. I should be able to do that. 5 new pieces, or I could give it a go. Anyway, Now, a couple people, like my sister, said to me, well, you don't need anything. You don't need any new clothes. And I was like, yeah, I know. I don't need anything. Other people were like, oh my God, 5 things, like it doesn't allow for you to be spontaneous and shop when you want and splurge. What the 5 things pledge does is it forces you to really, really think about what do you really want? And I mean, what do you really need? But the element of this pledge, and one of the reasons why I signed on, was it's going to help me to grow as a consumer. I say that comment, I'm laughing as I say that comment because it reminds me of a very good friend of mine who, when she was having a very, very difficult year teaching, she had a class that was extremely challenging. And she said she kept, as she would turn her back and be writing on the blackboard, she would be saying to herself, this is the class that will help me to grow as a teacher. So I'm assuming that this pledge, this constraint that I'm putting on myself, and it's self-inflicted. Nobody's telling me I have to do it, and nobody's going to check up on me. I am going to report publicly, so I guess I'll be publicly humiliated if I can't meet it. I'm hoping that I will broaden my views of shopping. Not so much my views, but my practices, because although I say how great it is to go thrifting and buying vintage. I love vintage, but I never, ever, whenever I've been to vintage stores, I never find anything to fit me because much of the stuff is really small. I'm not a good thrifter. I'm not a good shopper in consignment stores. I've used consignment stores over the years to sell things. I donate to thrift stores, but I don't actually buy things there. And this pledge that I made is going to force me. If I want to go shopping, that's where I'm going to go. So here's what I did when I first signed on to the pledge, first week or so of January. I researched vintage, consignment, and thrift shops in Ottawa. And I came up with a list of 5 or 6 vintage/consignment shops that I wanted to visit over the course of the winter. Now, last week I went to 2 of those shops. They're both on Wellington Street in the western part of downtown Ottawa. I went to the Recollective. That was a really cool store. It's on, as I said, it's on Wellington Street West. I had a long chat with one of the co-owners there. Their shop is what they call curated consignment. She said their shop is tiny, so they're very carefully curate what they put in there. I didn't see anything to buy. I tried on some of the menswear, actually, which I tried on a men's leather bomber jacket, which didn't fit me the way I wanted it to fit. But the bomber jackets are right on trend this year, so that would have been an interesting purchase. So that's the Recollective on Wellington Street. I've got some pictures to show you. The other consignment shop that I tried is called Trove on Wellington Street West. It's just east of the Recollective, a few blocks. I love that name. Obviously, it's from Treasure Trove. Well, I think it is anyway. They've just recently renovated. Store's lovely inside. It's so nicely curated. Everything is, it's just like a really nice little boutique. Actually, both of them were, both of the Recollective and Trove were laid out and organized like a boutique that you want to shop in. Trove was a bit bigger. I had a great chat with, two of the sales staff there. I didn't get to meet the owner. They had some great shoes and bags, were really great. Anyway, I'm going to go back. Saw some nice stuff, but just as I said, I have an idea of what I'm looking for. And I wanted to do an initial do the initial rounds of some of these consignment shops. So those are two I'd really recommend: Trove and Recollective on Wellington Street in Ottawa. Okay, so one of the other things that I did in preparation for this adventure that I'm on was I got some of my friends to sign on to come with me to be shopping partners. And what I'm hoping to do is each time I go on a trip is to take a friend with me, and we can film each other, we can try things on, we can have more fun. It's more fun when you do that. And then go for lunch and make it a true vintage / consignment / thrift shop day. And it might be a little bit more interesting for you guys to see somebody else trying on stuff other than me. So when I was telling hubby about shopping with the girls and taking them with me, he volunteered to go with me if I went to Value Village in Barrhaven, which is a store he's been to before, to find things that are appropriate for gardening in and stuff. He has my husband is the original clothes keeper. He has what he calls his hierarchy of clothes. So after things are no longer fit to wear, he wears them canoeing and for athletic stuff. Then he wears them out in the garden, and that's kind of the lowest level. So he needs new gardening pants because the old army pants he bought at one of the army surplus stores years and years ago have finally bit the dust, literally bit the dust, or been bitten by the dust in the garden. So he's looking for a new pair of pants. So he and I went along yesterday to Value Village. Okay, you did really well. I got a shirt. What did you get?
I got a pair of pants and it only took me 10 seconds.
Andy found the shirt for me.
Yes,
So,
I did find
yes,
it.
Yeah. I'm going to go shopping with him more often.
Right style, right color.
Yeah, exactly. Right size. Perfect. Now let's go get a coffee. So I'm very aware of the controversy surrounding Value Village. The idea that it's owned by a big conglomerate, the idea that it's a for-profit enterprise. So I don't really approve of it, if you know what I mean. So we went there once. I wanted to see what it was like. The place was jammed. I couldn't believe it. One of my friends at lunch the other day said that there's been some recent controversy about Value Village marking stuff up quite a bit, and that I just read an article on CBC News where someone looked at a tag in which a vase was $8 at Value Village, and when they put the price on, they didn't take the original tag off, and apparently it had been $3 originally at the dollar store. So there's that. Anyway, so I put my hand up. I shouldn't have been shopping at Value Village. I wanted to see what they had. I wanted to see what it was all about because I'd never even been in one. So hubby and I went, and he got a pair of gardening pants. I think they were $5.99. They're not bad pants, actually. So he got those, and I got this. I have a short list of pieces that this is a men's 100% cotton shirt, dress shirt, button down shirt from the Gap. But a pink shirt, I was looking for a pink shirt, exactly this color. I thought, gee, that's gonna be one of my thrift purchases. I'm gonna be looking for a men's pink shirt. So I found it. So last night when we came home, I washed both pieces of clothing. That's one of the things that you need to know about Value Village is they don't do anything to anything. It's just as is. So yeah, I can't think I'd be tempted to buy sweaters there because it gives me the willies, or hats or anything like that. Because if they haven't checked it very carefully, they don't check them carefully. They just whip a price tag on them and put them on the floor. So, you read articles about, have to be careful what you get at Value Village. So anyway, I brought this home and washed it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go and iron this and put it on, show you what it looks like. Okay, so here's my new shirt. Let's see if I can back up a bit. Quite slim. It's a men's medium. The sleeves are really nice and long. It's quite a slim cut. So men's medium is not, as a matter of fact, I might even have to put a pin in here. But I just really like it. Just figured a men's medium would fit me. I've changed into my black cargos, which are just like the white ones, the cream ones. I could do a half tuck, I guess, for this. And although I'm not altogether sold with that kind of look. It's a bit contrived to me. But anyway, I haven't figured out how I'm going to style it yet. But the color is exactly what I was looking for. That kind of soft, cool pink, which I like with my white hair. So that's my rule of 5 update. I've purchased one thing from a thrift shop. I'm hoping to find lots of ways to wear this. I'm just looking at a quote here. When I was doing my research in January, Erin, who writes a blog in Canada called My Green Closet, said, creativity comes with constraint. So I'm hoping that the constraints that I'm putting on myself with respect to shopping will lead to some creativity, especially later in the year when I have a very special wedding in New Brunswick that I have to go to, and I am going to buy something new to wear to that wedding. It will be one of my 5 things, or maybe 2 of my 5 things, depends. Coming up, what I'm going to be doing is hitting some of those consignment vintage shops in downtown Ottawa with my girlfriends. And so hopefully 1 or 2 of those shops with a shopping partner, I don't know who it will be yet, will be my next update. So I'll see you then.